It's a short step across London for the Blues tonight, but it could be a giant leap towards silverware come full time. Hello and welcome to Matchday Live. This is a big one. Chelsea versus Spurs, Frank versus Jose, bragging rights and a quarter-final place up for grabs. Tonight is going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. You've got me, Jason Cundy, Savage Dan, and making her Matchday Live debut, the brilliant Abby McCarthy as well. Abby, welcome to the team.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Looking forward to a no pressure. Looking forward to like a Kai Havertz kind of introduction. So whatever the equivalent of a hat trick is tonight, if you could bring that on, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll try and bring that kind of energy.
Obviously, fans might recognise you from Matchday or Radio 1, or of course you do quite a lot for the Chelsea Women's Channel on Chelsea TV. So thought we'd get to know you a little bit better before we really kicked off. So let's go straight in then. Favourite Chelsea player?
Of all time?
Yeah, go on.
Zola for me, the little magician. I mean, apart from Jason, obviously.
I was going to say that was wounding. I see his face drop.
Welcome, Abby.
You've got a charm on your debut on this show, right? But no, for me, it's Zola. I mean, what a gifted, creative, just incredible player. It's just some of his goals were just absolutely audacious. I still watch them back regularly. I just love him.
I'm going to come on to that because I was going to say I think you may have already given it away. But what's your favourite Chelsea goal then?
For me, it would be the Zola audacious flick against Norwich when it was in the FA Cup. That was Lasso's corner, like sort of curled in, and I still don't really know how he did it, but he did, and it was something special.
Jason, how did he do it?
I was there that day. I mean, there's no point in asking me how he did that. I know I saw it. It's immaculate timing. It's having the ability, the confidence, the know-how. It's very few players in the world can do that. We saw a brilliant goal from Jamie Vardy at the weekend against Man City, a kind of version of it. But to take it on the volley like that with inside of your right foot and have the power and the precision, it's quite incredible. So in answer to your question, I don't quite know, but he done it.
It's almost one of those goals. Well, you don't want to know how it happened, do you? It's like a magician. You go, I enjoyed the magic. I don't want to know behind. I don't want to know that you've got ice underneath the water and you're walking on it. I don't want to know any of that. If I sport anything, I don't think that's really how it happened. I don't know. What's your favourite memory as well? Your first memory from Stamford Bridge? Obviously, we can't be there tonight. Can't be there at all at the moment. But obviously, what's your first memory from the bridge?
The first game I went to was the quarterfinals of the Champions League when we played Barcelona in early 2000. I went with my two brothers and my dad. And obviously what a game to see and what a win for us, 3-1 on the day. And I just remember the atmosphere in the stadium just being absolutely incredible. And that's just totally where my love for Chelsea grew from then onwards, really.
Love that. I mean, setting the bar very high as well.
That's what I mean.
Start as you mean to go on. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to add to the pressure because actually I'm lying. There's absolutely no pressure on this because we tend to be completely wrong. But it's time to get involved with our Play Predictor game. If you haven't done this yet, haven't submitted your predictions for today, make sure you do on the Play Predictor section of the Fifth Stand app. Let us know how the game will pan out. You've got about 10 minutes left, so make sure you go and do that now. You'll score points for how close you get to the correct result. Prizes will be given to the highest scoring player. Prizes for each and every week as well, every month. And this is your final chance to get in the September prize draw, which will be £500 to spend in the Megastore, a little voucher, plus a signed merchandise bundle. And if you win the overall thing, the whole season champion wins a VIP matchday experience, flights and accommodation. Love that. So remember, it closes at 6:45, so you've not too much long. So make sure you're on the Fifth Stand already. Go and get stuck into that straight away. Right now, we are going to look at the final scores that we've predicted for tonight because that's all we're going to focus on. So let's have a little look at that then. I've gone 2-1. It's looking very familiar tonight, actually, because Abby's gone 2-1 as well. Jason's gone 2-1 and Dan 3-2, all in Chelsea's favour. So Abby, you can go first then. Talk me through your 2-1 tonight.
I'm feeling a little bit nervous for the game. Obviously, it's always a big game when we play Spurs, but I think that they haven't been playing that well. And I think we're playing them at quite a good time. They have a lot of games in a short period of time, so maybe they're not putting out the best team tonight. So for that reason, I think that we can sneak the win. I've got the belief.
Dan, what about you?
I've gone 3-2. I am quite confident. I think it depends on team sheets. We know that Mourinho will take it quite seriously. Tottenham have got goals in them. They've got Son. They've got Kane if they decide to play them. I think we'll win. I think we'll concede maybe more than one. So I've gone 3-2.
Jace?
I mean, kind of on the back of what Abby and Dan have just said, really. I think we all feel defensively we're a little bit vulnerable right now after what happened at the weekend. And Spurs are more than capable of scoring against us. I'll never have us to lose. It wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being a draw and goes to penalties, in all honesty. But I've gone for a 2-1, exactly the same as you and Abby.
I don't think I can take that, mate. I don't think I can take that. I'm looking forward to a win tonight. That's what we think anyway. Here's what a member of the Nepal Official Supporters Club has gone for tonight.
Namaste Chelsea fans from all around the world. This is Salil Shrestha from Chelsea, Nepal. We're really proud to be one of the participants of Play Predictors organized by Chelsea Football Club. And in today's match against Tottenham, I expect a competitive 2-1 win against them, with Hudson Odoi being one of the scorers. It will be a very nice victory against the Mourinho's man and to advance in the another round of cup final. Keep supporting Chelsea and keep the blue flag flying high.
Right, here we go then. Straight into hot topic 1 for this evening, which is team mentality. Now, this is, I suppose, one that as a fan, you expect, especially in a game against Tottenham. But Jay, you've been in the dressing room. When it comes to mentality, when it comes to grinding out derby days bigger than anything else, you know, especially a London derby, Chelsea, Tottenham, there's so much on the line. So is the game, it's such a cliche, and I do hate saying it, is the game sort of 90% in your head when it comes to these games?
When you're out on the pitch, the game itself is just another game. Going into it, I think, is where the mentality is. And the build up to a derby like this, especially when it means so much, maybe on a weekend where the paper's got time to build up to it, and it means maybe a little bit more than just, I don't know, a Carabao Cup, you know, 4th round that we are at the moment. Once the game starts, it's another game. But of course, the fan, it's all about the fans. As a fan now, as I am, and we all are, it's very different. My approach to games is different to what it was as a player. I get more nervous about games like this than I did when I used to play in these. So as a player, you're always confident you'll go in and perform and get the result. But it's always about how the fans feel, because at the end of the game, whatever the result is, we've done our job or haven't done our job. It's how the fans go home feeling.
Well, the reason we're talking about mentality, not just about tonight, Dan, but they showed a huge amount of it in terms of coming from 3 down at the weekend. So how much do you take from that game, and how much do you think sort of character, mentality, any word you want to use for it, how much they take into that for the rest of the season, not just tonight?
I think they'll learn a lot from it. 3-0 down at the Hawthorns. Most people don't come out of that with anything, if I'm totally honest. So we did dig deep, showed some character, showed some class. And to be fair, I think we were 3-0 down unfairly. But football's one of those games, it kicks you in the teeth if you let it. And it literally took a lot for us to get back to a level scoreline. So I think the players will learn a lot from that. I feel like if you want to be taken seriously as a big team and a title challenging team, you've got to have a little bit of, you know, we're not being beat and we don't care if it goes to the 93rd minute, you know, you've got to have that kind of air of invincibility and a bit of arrogance about you. And I feel like that game will give us a bit more confidence. Something, we may have dropped 2 points, but we'll have something that we probably didn't have going into that.
We're shortly going to bring in Lee Parker, who's at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tonight, to give us team news. But Abby, just continuing on that, because obviously on Saturday, the fight back that we saw from Chelsea, led, I suppose, by Mason Mount, who scored the first goal. Callum Hudson-Odoi obviously got the second as well. Those younger players, to know they've got that steeliness and that grit to be able to grind results out, grind games out, and kind of, I suppose, pick the game up by the scruff of the neck when you need it. That's got to be a huge bonus for Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. To show that attitude, like you say, and that grit is really, really incredible. Mason Mount particularly, I thought, was really creating chances and really keeping us in the game, which you love to see. And yeah, Callum played super well as well. It's nice to kind of have him back in the thick of it.
Oh, definitely. I think that's the thing, isn't it, Joe? We've spoken at length about the amount of options that Frank's got, but to be able to know that he can depend on everyone in the squad, whether young or experienced. Games like tonight, when you need perhaps a little bit more of an edge, whether that be, you know, someone that understands the derby or whether that's someone that's played in countless ones, scored countless goals in them, it all adds tonight, doesn't it?
It does, and Frank was behind the 8 ball. You know, Dan made the point there about, you know, it was slightly unfortunate us being 3-0 down. The reality was that we were, and Frank had to do something, and he rolled the dice, and he rolled a lot of dice, and he threw everything at it. I said to you guys, I think we all agreed at half time, there was still something in the game for us. The way we played first half going forward, I felt we'd done enough to show that we can get back into it. What my concerns were, and all our concerns collectively are tonight, is that way. If we can we keep them out in the second half? And we did, and we got, I think over the course of the 90 minutes, I think we got what we deserved. But all the subs had a big impact on that game. And when you're a manager, you kind of hope that that's going to be the case.
Definitely. We are very shortly going to be joined by Lee Parker. In fact, I think Lee's with us now. Lee, how are you, mate? You well? He's just sorting out the camera thing. That confuses me still. I'm on the laptop. Lee, how are you, mate? You well?
I'm very well indeed. Good to speak to you again.
You too, mate. You too. So, have you got team news for us?
I have indeed. The big news is Frank Lampard makes 8 changes from the team that drew at West Brom at the weekend. Edouard Mendy comes in to make his Chelsea debut in goal. It's in a back four of captain Cesar Azpilicueta. He's joined by Fikayo Tomori, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell with the first start. It's a midfield 2 of Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic, Callum Hudson-Odoi. It's Mason Mount, Timo Werner on the left, should I say, and Olivier Giroud leading the line. So that's your Chelsea lineup. What do you make of that, guys?
Well, I mean, I'm going to throw it straight back at you, Lee, because I know you spoke to Callum Hudson-Odoi at full time. You saw the reaction of the players second half. Is there anyone there that you kind of on Wednesday night, on Saturday, expected to start tonight?
I think Callum certainly made a case to him. I mean, speaking to Callum, as you rightly said, speaking to the manager, Frank Lampard, as well, he knows just how much potential, how much talent there is there with Callum Hudson-Odoi. We have to remember he has come back, like ribbon off his cheek from a devastating injury. It's taken a long time for him to come back to that. But I don't know about you guys, but I feel we're starting to see glimpses of the Callum Hudson-Odoi that really started to light up the Premier League a couple of seasons ago.
Jace, coming to you then, mate. Immediate reactions, I suppose, like Lee said, the headline would be stolen by Ben Chilwell's first start for Chelsea, Edouard Mendy making his debut in goal.
Yeah, I mean, the big name that we were looking at, in fact, the two of them were going to be Eduardo and Chilwell at the back. Also, I think was what we're also looking for, I certainly was who's going to start up top. And Giroud's relationship with Hazard was something that we all really appreciated and they spoke about. I just wonder whether there might be a little bit of room. We saw what Tammy did with Havertz last round against Barnsley. I just wonder whether there might be something in Frank's mind looking at Timo with Ollie as well. Maybe that link-up play, because he loves to come off that left-hand side the way Hazard did. And I'm just thinking, is there something that might be brewing there? Maybe there's some work that's been done. I'm glad to see Mason start. I thought Mason was outstanding at the weekend, as he always seems to be right now. Cover gets his place back, and good to see Tomori at the back. I mean, it's kind of what we expected, I think.
Lee, just wanted to come to you about the fact you're in a. I mean, let's be right. It's a lovely looking stadium. It's a shame that there are no fans in there because a London derby is always special. How does it feel? How does it feel being there? I imagine eerier than usual, being sort of behind enemy lines.
I think you're absolutely right. For me personally speaking, this is the first time I've been to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It is pretty impressive. Let's give it a watch, shall we? But it's a fantastic venue. It's an incredible stadium. I'll tell you, if you have a look at the pitch, looks to be on a terrific condition as well. Perfect conditions, perfect surface. But I don't know, we talk about it, we wax lyrical about it, don't we? It just feels strange. Big games like this and there being no fans here. So it adds something. And again, once you get into being in the privileged position of just the weekend, you're able to hear every single word that comes from Frank Lampard and the coaching staff. Obviously, not all of it family friendly, but it's a phenomenal insight and a real privilege. I mean, if I spin around again, look, you can see. I know we're looking forward to it. 25 members of the media here, plus so it really is, I'd probably say about 100, 150 in the stadium, which is
Well, Lee, we're going to let you go, mate. Hopefully, a little bit later on, the tannoy stops getting himself up for the derby this evening because he's loving it and he's creating atmosphere himself. But appreciate it, mate. We'll speak to you in a bit. Top man, Lee.
Look forward to it.
Cheers, mate. Abby, then I suppose, like we've already mentioned, Mendy and Chilwell. They're the two players that you're looking at because it's a first start for Chelsea and Ben Chilwell, and also a debut in goal for Edouard Mendy. Have you seen anything of Chilwell's debut? What did you make of that?
Yeah, I think it was good, and I'm excited to see him again today. Especially excited for Mendy. I do think as a club, that's so what we need. There's been so many goalkeeping issues, and it feels like we're just so anxious anytime any team gets near our goal. So I think to have him there, I know that Peter Cech's like spoken so highly of him and stuff, and that's the biggest compliment, really, isn't it? One of our best goalkeepers of all time saying that he's the next big thing. So I'm hoping that he really makes his mark today, and Chilwell has another great game. And it's good to see Giroud, actually. He always seems to score in these cup games, so I can see him scoring tonight.
I was going to mention that, Abby, because you're spot on. Olivier Giroud's got an incredible record in London derbies in general. He's got an incredible cup record for Chelsea, but he scored 2 and 5 for Chelsea against Spurs, Dan. He's another one that he's ever so dependable, and he's probably feeling quite hard done by to have not seen many minutes this season so far.
Yeah, especially ending last season probably as our favoured number 9. But he is like the absolute professional, and I have no doubts in my mind at all that he'll come in and have an impact. Even when he came on and he got a goal the other day against, was it Barnsley? I'm sure, he came on. Yeah, from the Chilwell assist. He's experienced, he's long in the tooth, he knows what it takes. Even not playing, he knows almost just how to come in and have an impact, even after, games without many minutes. So I have no doubt in my mind that he'll impress today. I think he'll link up well with Werner. I can just see, look, Tammy came in and Tammy made a big statement. I feel like Olivier Giroud's going to do the same thing today.
Well, Dan, I'll let you have a little look for some comments from people getting involved, if that's all right. And I'll come back to you.
That's exactly what I'm doing. And every comment seems to be Mendy. Mendy. Like, I've not seen so many Mendys ever before. It seems all the fans are ecstatic that Mendy started. And it's probably because we've seen nothing of him in a Chelsea shirt. We've seen Chilwell come on. But this is both of their debuts. There's Eden who's saying Mendy, hope for the best. There's around 50 people just writing Mendy with just capital letters and exclamation marks. And then there's the people saying, "Where's Rudiger?" But everyone seems excited about Mendy starting.
I'm gonna I'll let you carry on scrolling, mate, because you might be here a while, to be fair, by the sound of things.
It's mental. It's just
Jay, I want to come on to something that Dan's pointed out, because Dan has made a great point there about Tammy being given the opportunity in the Carabao Cup game, and the main thing that we took away from him wasn't just the fact that he got on the score sheet. It was more the fact that his link-up play, his overall all-round play, and being able to get other players into the game. That was what eventually got him the start on Saturday. Is this an opportunity for Olivier Giroud to look at that last Wednesday and go, do you know what, if I play well, I know I'm going to get the nod come the weekend?
Why not? I said earlier about the relationship that I feel that could work is Timo coming off that left-hand side. Assuming we're playing a 4-3-3, I know we played 4-2-3-1. Maybe Mason will play as a 10, Cover and Jorginho as a 2. We have to wait and see how that looks. But that doesn't change the opinion of Timo linking up, Callum Hudson-Odoi linking up. Giroud's hold-up play, his first touch and his instincts to link play, I think is underrated. Now we've seen we all know what he can do, and I know Arsenal fans know what he can do. It looks like they're going to play a 3 at the back, in which case there's going to be a lot of battles up there that he's not going to win. He's going to get outnumbered. We've got to get bodies close to him, because if we don't, he can hold the ball up. I don't care how good you are. If you're outnumbered 3-1, chances are at some stage you're probably going to lose possession. So we've got to make sure we get bodies close to him. And that's why I'm really looking forward to seeing how Timo Werner, him, Callum and Mason link up together.
It's a great shot about Callum, because we saw him get his first start of the season in the previous round against Barnsley, and obviously we saw what devastating impact he had coming on at half time at the weekend, Abby. And he's a player that we've seen for the last 18 months, 2 years or so, sort of burst onto the scene. We're so excited every time we see him play. The fact that he potentially is in a front 3 or a front 4 with Mason and Timo, the amount of pace that those three can give you, the amount of energy that those three give you, that's so exciting, isn't it?
So exciting, because Werner's fast as well. I mean, the pace between them, it's we're going to give Spurs a bit of a challenge, I think.
It's exactly what we want tonight. It's exactly what we want. And Jay, just on that about Callum and Mason, I know it's and Fikayo as well, of course, but players that have come up through the system know how much these kind of games mean to fans, and the fact that there isn't anyone in the ground tonight. Do you think there is that added thing from players that are representing the players that understand the coming through the system and understand the derby, understand how much it means to fans? Do you think there's a little bit extra on those players, or they'll have that little bit extra going into tonight, or is that not a thing for players?
No, I think it's the thing. I played a quarter final of this cup against Spurs at White Hart Lane. We won 3-0 after a home draw here, 0-0. At Stamford Bridge, and the build up to that game, everyone written us off. Everyone has said Spurs Stamford Bridge, and there was me, Graham Stewart. Can't remember who else played in that. May well have been Dave Lee, Gareth Hall. So as young players growing up in and around the academy or the youth team as it was at the time, the rivalry with Spurs is as fierce back then as a youth team player as it was in the first team. So let me tell you now, it will not be lost on these young boys.
I cannot wait for that. I really can't. Well, I'll tell you what, shortly you will see the warm-ups from Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But before that, here's what the boss said yesterday in his pre-match press conference.
Hi, Frank, how are you?
Hi, Ian, very good.
Good. But is everyone okay for the weekend? And how are things with Chilwell, with Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, and Edouard Mendy?
Yeah, Mendy and Chilwell are in the squad for tomorrow, so they're fit. So we'll see whether they start or not. And then the other ones, Ziyech and Pulisic, are not far away. They're still in their recovery stage, so it's too early for them both.
You've only had a few days to work with Edouard, but what have you made of it so far? What does it mean to at least have him available?
Yeah, all very positive. The early signs and interactions, just as a man and also on the training pitch. So he settled in very well in those few days, and we've made him very welcome as always. So yeah, no, it's competition. He's a good goalkeeper. We know that. We know a lot about him, and we'll see how we go.
But how do you go about addressing the issues that cost you at West Brom? They were individual mistakes. What can you do about that?
But yeah, very clear individual mistakes. You can't hide from them. The players, the individuals can't, and that's where you just need to have humility and hold your hands up. And I think players should. Thiago Silva definitely did, because that's the kind of character he is. And the reason he's been one of the best in the world for the last 10 or 15 years is because he doesn't do it much. So we have to take the game on the chin in terms of the fact that the 3 individual errors gave us a real mountain to climb. The positive was that we climbed it to a degree and got a point, although we would always want more when we have such a domination of a game against a team that defend, but the circumstances made it difficult and the reaction was actually good.
Last one, please, Ian.
Big talking point from the weekend, the new handball law, the way it's being interpreted. Steve Bruce got a penalty, said we've lost the plot. Roy Hodgson, who had a penalty given against Crystal Palace, said it was a nonsense and it's ruining the game. What's your view on it all, and is it something that collectively Premier League managers can do something about?
I don't know the answer to that. I agree with both Steve Bruce and Roy Hodgson in their analysis of it. They've been in the game longer than myself, but we're all in this game, and I think we all understand that when people jump in the box, your arms will naturally move into different positions. It's always been a difficult rule, maybe with a certain bit of a grey area, but in the idea of trying to find some clarity, we've actually gone the other way and made it something that just doesn't feel right at all. So I'd like to think something can be done to change it.
John Southall, 5 line.
Frank, how you doing?
Hi, John. Good.
How difficult is it to solve the issues at the back when you're playing twice a week, and then next week the players will disappear on international duty? I presume you're not getting a great deal of time on the training ground.
No, and I keep saying it, and I'm not pleading or making excuses. It's just a fact that when you work, part of the reason I think we had a successful year last year was the work that we put in on the training ground from the early days of being in Dublin and then being in Japan and having weeks with the players. And we were very well drilled, and I think off the ball particularly, our work was great, and we made it very difficult for teams to play against us a lot. When you have new players in, you really want to work like that. We haven't had the chance. So not just at the back, the whole way we're playing, it needs work. Football doesn't work that you throw things together and everything is amazing, because otherwise we wouldn't have managers that have shown that work brings success. So we're in that process and we just have to fight through that. Sometimes, and I mentioned last week, Barnsley being almost like an exercise for us. Now every game is an opportunity for us to improve.
What do you make of the international break? I think some of them are playing 3 games in under a week. I mean, as a manager, what do you make of it?
Well, I hope that the international managers, and I try and have as good a relations as I can with the ones I speak to related to our players, will use the games as well as they possibly can with their squads that they have, because 3 games is a lot when you think that we're back-to-back at the moment, and when we come back from that we'll be back-to-back again. I respect international football and I understand it has to be there. I just hope that the players go away and play and come back safely.
Last one, John, please.
Yeah, I know we've spoken about Antonio Rudiger before, but he hasn't featured at all this season. So can we assume that he is one of those players who will be on his way out?
I wouldn't assume anything, and I wouldn't assume with Antonio or any players in the squad. We're not there until next Monday when the window shuts. So other than that, I would have no assumptions.
James, Talk Sport.
Hi Frank, can you hear me?
Hi James, I got you.
Frank, what's the latest on Kepa? Do you think he might have potentially played his last game for Chelsea? Where do you see his future, especially over the next few days?
No, I certainly won't go to the point of played his last game for Chelsea. I think it's been a difficult time for Kepa. I think that's well documented. I know it and he knows it. But we should certainly not jump to that conclusion. And also I think, which I felt quite strongly about in the last week, is also understand that Kepa is a young man, and a lot of the highlight, spotlight on him, I think has become slightly unfair. I have to protect him because I know he's a good lad and playing with absolute professionalism and intent to do the best he can, as all the squad have to. And that's as much as I want to say about it now.
Did you see Saturday as a bit of a reality check? Because you've got a lot of new players coming to the side. It's going to take a little while for them to gel. It's not possible for every single player to be an overnight success, and for everyone to gel and you to get results and performances straight away. Yeah,
it wasn't a reality check for me because I know that. It may be for someone on the outside, that's not the worst thing. Listen, we should have won the game and would have won the game without individual errors, which are not all necessarily related to new players or new feeling. But in terms of our performance so far, it's clear we have some new players in. We also have a few new players in that haven't even taken part yet because of injuries. So we haven't had time to train as a group. I'm very confident that the more we can work, the more the players can play together and feel each other and work on the things that we worked on a lot last year, but we have to now double down on, then we will improve. But it wasn't a reality check. I understood that. And any Premier League game is going to give you big challenges. And West Brom gave us a challenge in the way the game went.
Last one, James.
Spurs got a bye into this round because Leyton Orient couldn't fulfil that fixture last week. Did you think that was fair? Do you think this game should have maybe been postponed so a club like Leyton Orient could have got a big day out with a big TV audience and the money that would come with that as well, which I imagine would have come in handy at this time of year?
Yeah, I've absolute sympathy for Leyton Orient. You know, it's an area that I know very well. I'm really still sympathetic to them, but unfortunately in the time that we're at, even I looked at it from our point of view and I thought that the game might be changed, and there's no way to put that game for us if we were going to postpone that game, because as soon as we come back from international duty we go League, Champions League, Champions League. So it's very unfortunate for Leyton Orient, and I don't know the details, but I think it seemed like the best solution, and maybe they've missed out, and let's hope that they can be compensated in some way to make up for that.
Jerry Cox.
Hi Frank, this is the second of 4 games in a week for Spurs, and Jose's hinted the Carabao Cup's probably his least important or lowest priority. Does that make you favourites, and where does it rank in Chelsea's ambitions this season?
Yeah, I mean, I know that, and I know, Jose, it's a busy time for Tottenham because of the Europa League. It's a busy time for us all. You know, they had a free midweek last week. We didn't, but I know they have a busy week this week. But when I analyse Tottenham and know the squad they have, and analyse what might be a team that maybe didn't play 90 minutes pretty much yesterday, they have a fantastic squad. So I feel that any squad Jose will put out can be very strong. I think we all know the Carabao Cup for teams like ourselves and Tottenham that are challenging for top 4 and Champions League like we are. Then the Carabao Cup does have its place, but we certainly respect it, and every tournament we go in, we'll try and win.
Last question, Jim Conlon.
Hello there, Frank. In relation to Callum Hudson-Odoi, he made a big contribution there at the weekend, Callum Hudson-Odoi. And do you think maybe going forward, Callum's going to have a big part to play in the season with the likes of Hakim Ziyech and Christian Pulisic coming back from injury? And also, what does the future entail for Victor Moses? He had a successful enough loan spell at Inter Milan. He's going to be back in. Is he going to play a part for you this year, Victor Moses?
Yeah, at the moment, Victor isn't in that position with us. We have a bubble, the training ground and the first team squad, which Victor hasn't been part of, but I know Victor, having played alongside him and know him well, and we'll see how that develops over the next week. With Callum, yeah, I certainly hope he has a big part to play this season. When you talk about Ziyech and Pulisic, we are not inundated with wingers. We lost Pedro and Willian in the summer, and we'll need competition. We'll need players just because of the stress of playing in the competitions we have to play in. And if Callum comes on and makes impacts like he did at West Brom, if he keeps improving and developing every day, he's a huge talent. So let's see.
Ability, that's a good ball. Brilliant from Jorginho into Giroud. Can he get the shot up here? Kicked away by Lloris Barkley on the follow-up. It's the woodwork. Back for Giroud. Yeah! Chelsea ahead. Olivier Giroud back in the team. Comes up with a big goal for the Blues. His best work, but it flicked out for Alonso. He's had a go! A little deflection off somebody, I fancy, took it over the bar.
I tell you what, he has caught hold of this. The technique with his right foot as well is magnificent. Ball sits up quite nicely for him.
Nicely taken by Mason Mount. On for Barkley, cleverly moved it on, one more for Alonso! What a goal! Marcos Alonso against Tottenham again. He finishes off what was a quite brilliant move. Stunning stuff from Chelsea.
Well, I think he could have popped that one in behind their back line. Let's see what happens. Oh dear. Oh, that's nasty. Don't think the referee saw that. Oh no, he's playing on. I don't understand that.
At all.
I do not understand that.
Absolutely incredible.
Willian doing what Willian does.
It is Alonso! Nearly snapped the bar in two, and the follow-up wasn't bad either from Kovacic, but wide. What a wallop from Marcos Alonso. There's Lamella there. Oh, it's deflected in. A very fortunate goal, but Spurs are back in it.
Oh, it's an unbelievably bad goal for us to give away, to be honest.
Chelsea have won it. It is a massive victory.
back to N17 Live. A big hello to you if you're just joining us now. 30 minutes to go until Spurs take on Chelsea for a place in the League Cup quarter-final. And a great opportunity now to say hello to some of our fans that are on the Zoom wall. So a massive hello to you guys. Let's see you waving. There we go. All the boys can see you on the pitch throughout the warm-ups, and they can see you throughout the game as well. So make sure you're supporting the lads all the way through the game, right there through to the full-time whistle. Great to see you all. You look absolutely fabulous up there. Hopefully you've seen over the last couple of weeks we've done some brilliant giveaways here on N17 Live, and they just keep coming. Gareth Bell was on the show on Sunday. He very kindly signed this shirt we've got in front of us here. So we're gonna give that away tonight. If you want to win that shirt, you need to use the hashtag N17 Live, and we want you to tell us who scored the goal for us in the 2008 League Cup final from the penalty spot.
Kickoff is getting close. It may be different without fans in the ground, but this is always a passionate fixture. Chelsea versus Spurs tonight. And here is the team that Frank Lampard has selected. Edouard Mendy making his Chelsea debut in goal tonight. Cesar Azpilicueta captains the side. Fikayo Tomori, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell was first start for Chelsea. Mateo Kovacic, Jorginho, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Olivier Giroud. We are joined by the team, of course, including Lee Parker, who is at Tottenham for us this evening. Lee, we're kind of, I'm in an R in. We don't know whether it's a 4-2-3-1, it's a 4-3-3. What do you make of it and what do you know for us?
Really interesting chat, guys. Really enjoyed the show. I mean, with regards to Chelsea, we are looking at a 4-2-3-1. So the back four, as you'd expect, that's Azpilicueta, Tomori, Zouma and Ben Chilwell. Then expect Jorginho and Kovacic in the, I guess, double pivot, as we like to call it, with Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right, Mason Mount in the 10 position, Timo Werner cutting in from the left with Olivier Giroud up top.
Okay, what about Spurs tonight, Lee, as well?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it, with Spurs? I was talking to some of the people behind the scenes, some of the people working at Sky. The consensus seems to be that Spurs are looking at a defensive 5-4-1. So that would look something like this. Serge Aurier at right back, Tanganga, Alderweireld, Dyer and Reguilon as the back five. Midfield four, Fernandes, Sissoko, Ndombele and Lamela, with Stephen Bergwijn leading the line for Jose Mourinho.
Okay, they've got. Thank you for that, Lee. I appreciate it, mate. It's interesting, isn't it? Because we know Spurs are a danger, Jace, but they've got Harry Kane and Lucas Moura, probably the two players you worry about most on the bench tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is, of all the competitions that Spurs are involved in right now, as is the same with us, this is right down lowest on the pecking order. They've got a Europa League qualification game coming up on Thursday. They've had a lot of games. They've travelled a lot of miles. They had a Premier League game at the weekend against Newcastle. They've got another one. I just think that we have to shuffle your pack, as we have as well. But we've seen this competition before when things aren't going well. You can bring on the big heads. They can have an impact, and that's why they're on the bench. So Jose will be very much looking at that. Interested that they got a 5 across the back. Of course, we know a 5 can be a 3. The fact they got a 4 in the middle of the park, they'll be looking for runners to get in support of Bergwijn. They're looking to get beyond us. And that pivot you mentioned there of Jorginho and Kova are going to be so crucial. They've got to be so disciplined there because there's going to be lots of movement in and around them and behind them as well. This is going to be tactically, really looking forward to see how this game pans out, because there's so many different parts to this, but bearing in mind their system and tactically how they're set up compared to us.
Lee, I think I can see some blue shorts warming up behind you. Is that the Chelsea? What can you see for us there, mate?
It is indeed. I hope you can hear me, by the way, because it's very loud, as you heard in my first proper.
I think he's starting up front, isn't he? I think he's starting up front there then.
But just behind me, I don't know how much you can see on the phone. With some of the subs, but we are
right.
The Spurs guys are a little further on my left-hand shoulder. I wish I could zoom in more effectively in this way so you can see it. But yeah, like I said,
Lovely. Lee, thank you for your good work as usual, mate. We will catch up with you a little bit later on. Lee will have plenty for us later towards the game as well, and of course post-match interviews, so make sure you stick around for that. Abby, I suppose the big thing that we're all hoping for this evening, I suppose something that we're hoping for at any point soon, because it's going to come, is Timo Werner's first goal for Chelsea.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see that. Also because he's in my fantasy football team, so and he's my captain, so I'll be getting double points. So it's a win for everyone. Oh no, it's only Premier League, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you what though, it does feel, but it does feel like once he gets the first one. Once he gets the first one, though, I think everyone's going to be jumping on as captain. I definitely am. If he scores tonight, he's captain for the weekend, doesn't he?
That's true. That's true. I'll get the points in the long run. And also, it would just be so amazing to see. I think he showed so much promise. And the pace he's got, it's just mad, isn't it?
Dan, that is something, is it? We've spoken about Timo Werner. We've spoken about Kai Havertz. The latest one, and he is, in fact, our one to watch this evening, is our new goalkeeper, number 16, starting in goal, 6'6", all 6'6" of him. Edouard Mendy. Dan, have you seen much of him? I know we spoke at the weekend about just watching YouTube videos, but have you seen much of his training on the pitch stand and stuff like that the last couple of days?
Yeah, I have. I've watched all the clips. He is a giant. I'm seeing him pluck balls out of the sky. He's a big boy. He's obviously a big talent. Petr Cech rates him very highly. He is the one to watch. He's the one that on the Matchday Live comments, everyone is watching. He is a bit of an unknown quantity. I feel like a lot of the keepers coming out of France, you don't really know much about them, especially we're here paying, lots of attention to the Premier League. We know he's good. We know he's rated. We know he's big. We know he's commanding. I feel like he'll fit in just fine at Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? But with new signings and with debutants, you want to see him. You want him to have a feel of the ball early. I'd quite like it if we didn't see Edouard Mendy at all tonight, weirdly.
I think we all subscribe to that point of view, absolutely. The less we see of him, the better tonight. But at some stage, we're going to have to find out what he's all about.
Absolutely. Someone that we are starting to see a little bit about because, he's starting for the first time in the Chelsea shirt this evening, is Ben Chilwell. And he's been the subject of Jason's Matchday Live analysis.
It might have been a cameo appearance against Barnsley, but already we've had a little look at what Ben Chilwell can offer us moving forward in the blue shirt. He's quick without being electric, got a lovely left foot, nice pass down the wing there, but defensively you've got to cover your centre half, see how narrow he's coming there, making sure he's getting around Zuma and clears it well. He gives us natural width, being left-footed of course, he gives us that natural balance, overlapping runs on this occasion. Not quite got the cross right there, but here's what Ben can do. He can play quite narrow as well. He can come in. See how narrow he is as a centre half. You've got the overlapping run outside, but he takes the option of a shot. But this is what he really is good at. Got a lovely cross. Bends the ball in behind Barnsley's back line. It's a brilliant cross. It's an excellent finish, and Frank enjoyed it. Just a little bit to look at what we can expect from young Ben Chilwell.
It's going to be buzzing to see Ben Chilwell in a Chelsea shirt. Abby, I know that you're probably similar to all of us have been keenly watching him at Leicester for a little while, almost envious that he's playing for Leicester. So the fact that we got the deal done over the summer, and I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but we are all hoping that he's the successor to Ashley Cole a couple of years back.
Yeah, we're really hoping he's going to get our defence in shape, aren't we? No pressure on his behalf. It feels like we've just had so many amazing signings and it's really exciting. But I think a lot of people are going to be looking at Chelsea this season, whereas last season wasn't really that much expectation at all. Like our academy players did shine. But yeah, it feels like this season, I think it's going to be exciting, I
can't wait for it. Dan, this is going to sound like a really silly question, but left footers just look better, don't they?
They do. They do. I don't know what it is. It's probably just because there's less of them, but they have a silkiness to them, a kind of, I don't know, I've always looked at left footers and thought they're special. Hardly any of them can actually use their right foot, but they are special. And it does seem that when you've got a left foot like that, it is a bit of a wand. Chilwell's got more than just a silky left foot. He's fast, he can defend, he can attack. He is an all-round, very, very solid left-back. I'm really glad we got him.
It comes on to our hot topic 3 for this evening then, which is tired Tottenham. 4 games in 8 days for Spurs. Jace, I'll come to you because you've already mentioned it about, the fact they've got qualification games, and the starting lineup tonight, I suppose, would reflect, like you've already mentioned, that it's not the highest of their choices to win something this year.
Yeah, and Jose's not alone. I've even seen managers we all have in the Championship and League One, League Two go into this competition and use it as an exercise in which to blood some youngsters, some fringe players. And I think we all expect that to be the case until perhaps you get to the quarters, maybe semis and possibly the final, even though we've seen goalkeepers go through the whole way through, even if they're second choice. And Frank has done exactly the same. I'm looking at both sides. I'm not really surprised at who I'm looking at. In all honesty, both managers got to shuffle their pack. Most important game for both managers is this one right now. But you can't help but think the weekend is even bigger. So I think managers pick teams on the Saturday or the weekend before midweek games, in particular Carabao Cup, knowing the team they want to pick. They pick it for that. And I think they pick sometimes 3 games in advance. Of course, you can't, legislate for sendings off and injuries and so on and so forth. But I think both managers had this kind of team in their mind maybe a week ago.
I should have asked Lee actually if he's measured the goalposts, because I saw that Jose wasn't too happy about the height of the crossbar when he played in Europe in the week. I tell you what, if they are an inch smaller tonight, Edouard Mendy's going to have a field day, because he's going to absolutely fill it, isn't he? But stuff like that, Dan. I don't want to. I'm not obviously speaking negatively at all, because he is obviously a terrific manager, but the stuff like that, when you make those kind of comments, and the fact that he's got so many games so quickly, does that maybe start to think in your mind, if you're a Chelsea player coming into it, you're thinking he's already rattled a little bit here?
Chelsea fans know Mourinho and his patterns and how he behaves when, you know, things aren't going great, or when things are going great. We kind of understand Mourinho better than I'd say any fan in the world. When he starts making comments like that, he's just trying to rile something up. He has got a bit of a, you know, us against the world kind of thing. And he tries to create that with whatever group he's with. And it creates like a togetherness amongst them. But when it does capitulate, it capitulates. And it's easy to get under Mourinho's skin. Let's just say that much. I feel like he's biting.
Just
Abby,
sorry.
Go on, Jay.
As well, well, you're absolutely right, Dan. As fans, we do know him. And I listened to his press conference in the week or yesterday saying about how we can't win this competition because of the games. No one knows him better than Frank. Frank has beaten him 3 times already since he's been a manager in his very short time that he's been there. No one knows him better than Frank. So he might pull the wool over some of the Chelsea fans, some of the media, or some people's eyes. He's not going to pull it over Frank's.
No shots. Jay, it actually leads quite nicely onto the question I was going to ask Abby, because we've all been watching the Amazon documentary about Tottenham. We've all seen Jose for better or worse over the years, when he was at our club winning stuff, and he's, you know, he even said himself, turned Frank Lampard into one of the best midfielders in the world. But he's certainly not going to be going into the dressing room telling the players that he selected tonight that you're already beaten. So we know to expect a reaction. And for those players that are starting for Spurs tonight, it's a hell of an opportunity when you've got some of the bigger names on the bench, so many games coming up, to then get a result over Chelsea tonight. So we certainly shouldn't be taking this lightly. And in terms of the lineup, perhaps even looking at the opportunity for some players to make a name for himself.
Yeah. You know what Mourinho's like? Once he's had like a couple of bad games, he's going to come back into this fighting. And like you say, a lot of those players are going to be kind of fighting for their spot in the team. So I think it is going to be a tough game, but I do think we've got the edge.
Mason Mount, Jay, is going to be a big player for us tonight. He's a big player in every game we play, but that energy from sort of the 10 role, but also the capacity for him to drop in and make a 3 if need be as well. He's going to be key this evening, isn't he?
Yeah, and look, we know what Ollie's got. You know, in terms of his attributes, one thing he hasn't got is pace. I expect and want Mason to go beyond him. I want him at times to be the furthest man forward. He's the quickest at closing down. If Ollie comes to feet, inevitably the first person he wants to try and find is Mason. But you know what? If he does come and drag a centre half out or wants to try and drag players deep, I want to see Mason going beyond. So there's 3 roles he's got, Mason. 1, yes, out of possession, you then become a 3. In possession, when the ball's long, can you support Ollie? Or other than that, if the ball is the third man running, can you go and be that centre forward? So it's a big day for Mason, and he has all of his attributes that he can confidently go into this game knowing he can cover all those bases.
Spot on, Jay. And also we saw that link up between Giroud and Mason Mount create one of the goals earlier in the season. That was a finish, wasn't it? There has been some battles between these two sides over the years, and here's the pick of some of our best goals, maybe that one included, against Spurs.
Alonso, it's a screamer! What a brilliant goal from Marcos Alonso!
What a finish, what a goal by Alonso. As they always say, you don't stop these.
Now Shevchenko. Back onto his favoured left foot.
Oh!
What a goal! Andrei Shevchenko with 1 out of nothing. Out of the top draw.
Hasselbank still has it left-footed. He's cutting one! What a fantastic strike! Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, it's a hat-trick!
Why not go? This is Wigan all over again! It really is Wigan all over again! deja vu. Giuliano Belletti looked for an option. Nothing presented itself except to run forward and shoot. And my goodness, he shot. 1-0 with a blinder.
Fabregas onside, got it back to Hazard. Costa almost took it off his toe. Matic will have a thumb. Oh my word! What a goal from Nemanja Matic! His first of the season, and he saved it for the big occasion to send Chelsea maybe to the FA Cup final.
Zola classic. He tries it. Oh yes! Gianfranco Zola! Superb from the Italian. Bellissima. There's Lampard's free kick.
Oh, what a goal!
Well, it's beyond doubt now. That is a stunner. Where's he pulled that from? The long rangers, that long range, are usually left to Didier Drogba, but Frank Lampard has out-drugged him there. Gallas doing really well. William Gallas! Oh, what a goal! Can you believe that? William Gallas, out of nothing, has hammered one into the top corner, and he has won this game for Chelsea. Hazard's done well to get it through to Diego Costa. Edge of the D. Hazard! Unbelievable goal! Eden Hazard's curled into the top corner, and it's 2-2 in the shed end. And Tottenham not dreaming anymore of the title. Eden Hazard, what a goal!
Goal back. Oh my word, what a goal by Gianni Goldback. Well, don't cast your vote for goal of the season yet, because that's a contender. What a fantastic shot.
There's some screamers, but to be fair, I'll take one bouncing off a shin pad in tonight. Not bothered in the slightest. Absolutely not bothered. Jay, so we've kind of, I suppose, well, Jose Mourinho certainly doesn't miss this, but this is a big competition to win. This is the first trophy that Jose won for Chelsea, wasn't it? It's usually the first trophy to win in the season, around about February as well. Yeah, and then we know that people like Guardiola rate this very highly as well. And it's we spoke about mentality earlier, but winning's a habit. So if you win in this cup competition, you get yourself to a quarter final before we're even out of September. That's going to set you up for the rest of the season, well, isn't it?
Yeah, Jose knows. He's a trophy pig. He'll win any trophy he can at any given moment. He's very different to Klopp. Klopp will prioritise and he will go for certain trophies, and fair play. They've won the two big ones in the last 2 years, but Pep and Jose, they go for as many as they possibly can and scoop as many as they possibly can. And Jose's exactly the same as that. I think we've got to think about the mentality of Spurs. We're talking about a football club here that haven't won a trophy for such a long time. And if he was to deliver them even just this competition, it would be huge for them. That would give them something in which they will believe they can build on. So you're absolutely right. Jose views this as a trophy, not as big as the others, of course, but as I said, he's a trophy pig. He'll take whatever he can, whenever he can.
Abby, that's a great point, isn't it? We know Jose's got that elite mentality, and he'll take any piece of silverware. So is that? I mean, I was quite surprised at the lineup. Are you surprised with his approach tonight?
A little bit. I was trying to kind of work out who was up front for them, and I was a little bit sort of confused by that. I think we kind of all were working out, the formation. But he's desperate for some silverware, isn't he? He wants to make his mark at Spurs. So yeah, he's going to be, him and his team are going to be trying pretty hard tonight.
And just on that, if he has to bore his way through tonight's game and sit deep with a 5 or a 6 at the back and 4 across, he will do that. So he won't care how aesthetically, he doesn't care how it looks as long as he's holding up a trophy.
Not at all, mate. Right, let's have a little look at the team once finally before we join our match commentaries. It's Edouard Mendy making his Chelsea debut in goal. Cesar Azpilicueta, Fikayo Tomori, Kurt Zouma and Ben Chilwell as a back four. Mateo Kovacic, Jorginho, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Mason Mount, Timo Werner and Olivier Giroud. That is all from us for now, but we will be back at half-time and full-time to analyse how the match is unfolding. You have live match commentary with Matt Davies-Adams and, of course, Jason Cundy coming up next on The Fifth Stand. Enjoy the game and we will see you in a bit.